Hello everybody and welcome into the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series live from Bristol Motor Speedway. We got another good one on tap for you here tonight. We just finished up the West Coast Swing Phoenix last week, but on to another short track this week, the highest banking of them all. And I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. You're watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Drivers getting gridded up and we are getting ready to go, so let's get right into your starting grid. Taking the pole tonight, it's going to be Danny Gutierrez in the 08 car. Rolling off on his outside in second. One of the rookies has already found himself success with a win early on in the season. It's Michael Mueller in the 99. Andrew Mraz will roll off third. Jacob Musso to his outside in fourth. Austin Fitzgerald in fifth. Todd Shiro back in sixth with Adam Johnson in seventh. Jared Bundy eighth. Tyler Marble in ninth. And Alan Pajari rounding out the top 10 for Dynamic Autosports. Anthony Hanley will roll off 11th. To his outside in 12th is Thomas O'Hara. Moving on back to row number 7, it's Wes Hurt Jr. and another one of the rookies, and Kenneth Bartholomew in the 73 machine. Moving back to 15th, it's Ty Iopolito. To his outside, it'll be Brian Conklin in the 37. Brandon Saylor starts 17th with Cody Matthews back in 18th. And rounding out your top 20 here tonight is going to be Mark Zabak and Kyle Oakley. 21st tonight, we'll start Team Marble iRacing's Jeff Marble. Ryan Shiro to his outside in 22nd. Row number 12 going to be Glenn Grigsby and Troy Baker. Greg Bartlett, 25th. Johnny McCulchuk in 26th. Nick Sitchie in 27th. Andrew Russo back in 28th. Bill Benedict, 29th. And Ryan Haynes rounding out your top 30. Brett Spod going to line up just one spot behind his teammate. He'll start 31st. Quentin Clark to his outside in 32nd. First win of the season came for him last week. We'll see if he can find success and go back-to-back here tonight. 33rd will be Matthew Gearinger. 34th, Christopher Hall. Rounding out the field tonight in 35th. It's going to be Jeffrey Souza. It's the Bristol Spring 250 here in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. 250 laps of scheduled distance tonight. Everybody does have 100% fuel, 4 sets of tires, no fast pairs open setups as always, and 3 green-white checkers if we were to need them. Track length here, Bristol Motor Speedway, just over half a mile. We talked about the thing that makes this place so special is the speed that it has, even for how short of a track it is. High banking in the corners, similar to what we would see out of Super Speedway like Daytona or Talladega. Track temp tonight, pretty cool. So again, grip going to be pretty high, but at the same time, tire wear could be a major issue as well. We'll see if everybody's able to get a pretty good grasp on that here in the early portions of the race. And boy, if it's anything like the Cup race we saw in real life just the other night, we are in for a good one here. Again, I want to give a shout out to everybody just tuning in. Jeff Shutt already saying in the chat, let's go, let's get this thing rolling. And we are about to do that. Going to bring the fireworks to life here in Thunder Valley. Again, one of the coolest short tracks of all season, and actually just before we get ready to go green, now maybe a goodest time of any to take a ride on board while under pace laps. And I mean, this doesn't do it full justice, but I mean, look at the banking here. In fact, if we go to the gyro, this might help out a little more. That gives you a little bit more view of just how banked this half a mile high-paced short track is. But Danny Gutierrez, man oh man, we talked about the speed that he brought the last couple weeks, and a couple of them came really close to looking like he may have had a shot to get his first win this season. I'm telling you, putting a car on the pole here tonight for the 08, this is a lot of momentum going into the race. We'll see if he can get the job done tonight. Here we go. Pace car makes a left turn. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Bristol. Just like that, lap 1 complete. Goes by quick when it only takes about 16 seconds. Danny Gutierrez is already trying to pull out to a little bit of a lead just behind him. The 2 Riot Motorsports teammates of Andrew Mraz, Michael Mueller, not going to let him go anywhere. Almost some contact right there with your leader off of turn number 4 as they got really, really tight. Now as they drag race down the back straightaway, question is who's got the preferred lane, outside or inside? Which one's going to work better early? You see the dark strip on the racetrack kind of sitting in the middle, so these guys really haven't laid rubber down anywhere specific on the racetrack at the moment. Could take some time for it to build in, and we'll see if these cars adjust to that is all. Since that, of course, the newer iRacing update that they made a little while ago, a few updates ago, it was supposed to make track conditions more dynamic and make the racing groove shift as the race goes on. But the 97, really impressed with the momentum he's able to carry down the straights by rolling the bottom Usually it's that trade-off that we see at most tracks where you run the bottom, you get the advantage in the corner, but you lose all the momentum down the straightaway. But already, look how much they're working up the track. I mean, Danny Gutierrez has just about got the 08 on the outside wall, and the 97's up to the middle lane himself, considering what that's going to be as the inside groove here for the night. It's looking like just about everybody else. Single file action, a little bit of battle there between one of the rookies, Brandon R. Saylor, and Cody Matthews in the 10. Looking like Matthews going to stick it to the outside here for just a few more laps. And his grip wears down. Wouldn't be surprised if we see this become even more of a single groove racetrack. But still up front, the battle for the lead still continuing to be Danny Gutierrez trying to hold on, but he's not going to be able to do so anymore. The 97 of Andrew Mraz finally able to grab that spot, and his teammate Michael Mueller still not too far behind, currently rounding out that last podium position. Danny Gutierrez here, though. Again, we always talk about veteran versus rookie presence. As impressive as the rookies have been all season, still always sits in the back of your mind, especially in a situation like this, is Danny maybe realizing, okay, if he wants it, he can have it. I'm going to sit back here, save myself a little tire, try to set myself up for the latter portions of this run. And I mean, you figure 100% fuel at a half-mile track. These guys are going to make it, if I had to guess, I mean, probably at least 70 to 100 laps worth of fuel. I'm going to say probably at least 100. All things considered. When you think about the distance here, you could fit almost 12 times the length of Bristol, just about. A little bit more would be the length of Daytona. So certainly not so much a question of fuel mileage for that first green flag stop, more question of tires. Right now everything's still getting situated. Here's the battle for fourth place. Austin Fitzgerald for Dynamic Autosports, still looking for that first win on the season. Found success last week at Phoenix. Unfortunately fell just short, got out-dueled by the rookie at the end there in Quentin Clark. But Jared Bundy back here. Last time we saw the three machine running at the front this early in the race was at Atlanta just a few weeks ago. And of course now we only have just about a handful of races under our belt since the start of the season. So everybody's still trying to find which tracks they've got the best setups for, but definitely an encouraging sign right now if you're a Jared Bundy fan at the speed he has found. Already up 4 positions since the start of this race. Tyler Marble in 6th, Jacob Muzzo in 7th. About Thomas O'Hara, another one of last season's rookies. One of the Toyotas we have in the field tonight. Tai Ippolito just behind him. Todd Shiro in 10th. There's Alan Pajari back in 11th. This guy right now looking to see if he can get a little bit more momentum before we head to the track that we're going to next week. And that is Auto Club. And boy, you know he's looking forward to it because he got the job done last season when we went there. I wouldn't expect anything less to see if Alan Pajari couldn't go a repeat winner. But man, he'd like to see if he could capture at least a top 10, maybe go fight for a top 5 here tonight, especially with the speed that he sees his teammate in the 74 has got right now, running in that 5th spot. And we have a chance. Let's go break down some of the driver cams that we actually have on board here with tonight. And first up, certainly always appreciate Kyle Oakley carrying the onboard for us. He's got the Ghost Racing Network shirt on, but more importantly right now, he's focused on the action on track. And, you know, I know we can't show them all at the same time, but I'm sitting here watching all the different guys on the driver cams. I mean, they're working the steering wheels pretty good. In fact, we'll actually hop in the virtual onboard here with Kyle Oakley as well, as we're going to stall that thought out for a minute. Caution is out for the first time here tonight. Not sure where exactly the issue was. Getting reports that it may have been Matthew Gearinger, who has already, looks like, been able to make it down to the apron. And sure enough, he's got some pretty significant right front damage to his number 31 Toyota Camry. So I think that was the next topic that we were probably going to land on, was cautions. And, you know, how many would you expect tonight? It's Bristol. You'd think you'd expect a lot, but, I mean, all things considered, these guys did a pretty good job here last season. I know it's more cautions than, of course, the admins, Jeff Marble, Tyler, they'd like to see. But, I mean, first caution here coming on lap 21. Not too bad for a good start at Bristol. And, again, everybody's still getting warmed up, still getting used to these cars and the grip level. But big question here is going to be, of course, what happened to Matthew Gearinger? And we'll take a look at that in just a moment. The big thing I was curious about first was, would we see any pit stops here? Dual pit road, so pit stops under green, definitely going to be tricky, but even under caution, it's going to be a big break there for Jeff Marble, who you saw just jump around the outside. He was waiting, probably hoping rather, for an early caution there in order to get that lap back. So now he'll have a chance to almost get a fresh start to this race, and still got a lot of work to do, as he's going to have to actually go get the track position now. So as the pace car continues to roll around here, doesn't look like we're seeing any sign of pit stops just yet. And so looks like the leader going to stay out another lap as the caution stays out for the moment. Gives us a chance to go back and see exactly what happened here. It's Matthew Gearing in the 31. He's going to get some help here. One of the BMP Racing drivers. That's Brett Spott on the outside. As they come off to, the 31 snaps loose. And when he corrects it, gets up the track. Brett Spott's there. Contact is made, and once Brett bounces off the outside wall, it's going to get back down into the 31. That sends Matthew Gearinger pretty hard into the outside wall. That is concrete down the front stretch, so definitely doing a little bit more damage than the safer barrier and the turns probably would, but give you one more shot of this one. It's a product of what you get at Bristol. In fact, we're going to go to the onboard view here for Gearinger, play at full speed. Take a listen. Oh, it's such a... I mean, I think, honestly, if he just kind of lets the car settle itself there, it's okay, but he felt it, and you saw it there just ever so slightly start to slip. And as a driver, you don't have very long to react. You got to make that decision almost in a split second. He did, and fortunately, in this case, it's not going to work out. Everybody else, though, doing a nice job to squeak around there. Kenneth Bartholomew is able to get by on the inside as the 31 somehow ends up being the only car involved. Not something we see too often at Bristol. Usually when they wreck them pretty big, but not the case right there. All right, so as we now get ready to go back green, taking a look up front, it is Andrew Mraz, the rookie, leading the way. He's going to have his teammate, though, this time rolling off on his outside for this restart. Michael Mueller, Danny Gutierrez back in third, Jared Bundy fourth, and Austin Fitzgerald rounding out your top five. Well, we got a chance. Look at some of the other driver cams that we do have here tonight. Tyler Marble, another driver who looked like he was going to have a good shot at Phoenix last week. A little bit of bad luck towards the end, but still able to salvage a good finish nonetheless. So we'll be looking to capitalize here tonight as well. Well, we've got a cool camera that we'll get to in just a minute once this thing gets back green, and we can utilize it a little bit more. Johnny McCulchuk carrying both an onboard cam and a pedal cam for us here tonight. And he is using a lot of both tonight, steering wheel and the pedals, to get around this half-a-mile high bank short track. But still early in the season, everybody looking to find their ground. Andrew Mraz in the 97. One of the Riot Motorsports teammates still looking for his first win on the season, at least in terms of official win. Obviously, the Clash was a little bit of a different story, but his green flag flies back in the air. We are back racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway, 2x2 down through turn 1 and 2. Everybody staying pretty tight. Gutierrez did slip up a little bit on the bottom, and now again, we didn't see any pit stops during that last caution, at least not from any of your leaders. Just a couple guys going into fixed damage, et cetera, including, and more specifically, Matthew Gearinger. So these tires have all had a heat and cooling cycle now, so it's a little interesting to see if these cars fire off any differently. And definitely looks like there's a little bit more side-by-side action, at least towards the middle portions of the pack after this restart. The 6 machine, Todd Shiro. He tried to slide up in line just in front of Cody Matthews, but that gap quickly closed off. And certainly looking more right now like the outside's the place to be if you're trying to get by everybody. As they continue to roll, Pajari is able to pick up another spot. And he is on the inside now, 37 of Brian Conklin, who's going to try to pick off the spot from the 34 now. And this is the battle for that 8th spot. Conklin gets some momentum down the straight. Pajari with the shorter distance around the corner, but again, there you go. The outside lane does prevail right there. 12 of Westford Jr. in this group, but up front, the 97, who took the lead right off the green, has been able to stay there since, and already has put about a 0.3 of a second gap between him and his teammate Michael Mueller. Jared Bundy up to third in the 3 car. And on his outside, there's Danny Gutierrez, who may be struggling just a little bit here again. You got to wonder, did he push it a little bit too much off the start, because no new tires, so hard to say that the 08's necessarily struggling in the short run. Just got to wonder if maybe he wore the tires out just a little too much early on as he was fighting with the 97 for the lead. Jacob Musso back in 7th. Brian Conklin still making up ground, rolling the outside. He is up now to 8th, up 8 in total from where he started. Westford Jr. has picked off a couple more. There's the 17 of Kyle Oakley. He's looking to the inside of the rookie, Ty Ippolito. We'll see if he takes about 3 wide here. So it looks like he's giving the look as he kind of runs a little bit of a diamond approach through the corner. Mark Sabak, the Canadian driver in the field. In the 9 car, he's back in 16th. Ryan Shiro in 17th. And I feel like we haven't touched too much on Shiro Motorsports yet throughout the season, but another one of the teams, I know we talk about drivers that are doing this a lot, but really one of the teams is kind of flying under the radar right now. Todd Shiro back in 18th. This isn't telling the full story of their start to the night as cautions back out. I was getting ready to say it was a great qualifying effort for Todd Shiro. A little bit of struggles now, but still plenty of time to get it back together as this one comes out, and it's Troy Baker, culprit in this one. Another one of the rookies in the 18 machine. Don't see any damage to his Chevy Camaro. Good looking paint scheme though. The Atlanta Braves. And just gotta wonder if it's another harmless spin. The driver out of La Verge, Tennessee. And you can see that he may have went a lap down here. I'm trying to figure out if he was able to stay in front of the leaders after the incident. And I do think now 38 laps complete. This could get a little more interesting in terms of, do you come down for your first set? I think it definitely becomes a little bit more of a question of a gamble now. And I think this might be where we start to see some split strategy. I mean, I think I just don't know. I think I like the idea of staying out because you never know when you're going to need tires towards the end of a race at a place like this. And you certainly don't want to be the one odd man out that doesn't have that extra set left in the pits. So, as it stands for the moment, nobody going down just yet. We'll see if pit road does open, and if it does, do we see any of the leaders going? That's the bigger question. Again, I mean, wouldn't be surprised if maybe a couple guys towards the back of the field decide to do it, but doesn't look like it. Nobody going to go in this time. Again, I mean, only 38 laps complete, so not too surprised to see this. Couple takers further back, actually. Alan Pajari, Bill Benedict, he's going to bring it down. Looks like he's going to at least hop off on fuel. Not sure if he took 4 tires, but can definitely taking some fuel mileage there. Pajari, though, playing a little bit of risky strategy here. He brought it down, and it looks like he was able to jack up the right side and the left side, so he's taking 4 tires as well. So certainly no strategy being played. A couple guys going to try to press their luck. We'll see anybody else rather, pit in just a moment, but let's go back and see what happened, where it all went wrong for the 18. He was running towards the back of the field. Ooh, tags the outside wall, but no issues there. It's when he gets down in the corner. Him and Adam Johnson, little argy-bargy there. They get together. The 0-2 into the rear bumper. That's what sends him around. Again, another harmless spin. Lucky that we have seen that be the case so many times tonight. And, the 18 hit the wall. He dives down maybe a little bit late here, but I think that's just a little bit of a disagreement in terms of braking zones for 2 different rookies. Still trying to get a feel here. Again, no ill intent from Johnson. And believe me, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple tempers here tonight, but I don't think that was the case of this. Let's take a listen. Yeah, I think it's just 2 different lines there to a degree. I mean, I think the 18 was, trying to gather himself up for the most part, try to get back in a rhythm, if you will, after tapping the outside wall, and unfortunately just maybe could have stayed high, but looked like he was cleared down, and just a little bit of miscommunication there. Nothing, no harm, no foul. A little bit of right front damage maybe to the 0-2 of Johnson as the 18 does spin, but the big loss there is that he lost his track position and maybe lost a set of tires in the process. Definitely not the way that you wanted it to go. Take one more view there from the static cam. Go back live. It's getting ready. Let's go back to green flag racing. And it is still the 2 Riot Motorsports rookies up front. Ange Mraz going to choose the outside this time. A little bit of a different look from what we've seen on a couple of the restarts here, especially the one, of course, to start the race where it did seem like the outside had some speed. Danny Gutierrez was able to defend the 97 for a good while. Michael Mueller in second, Jared Bundy third, Danny Gutierrez fourth, and Tyler Marble back in fifth. Conklin moving through the field right now. You see he's up to the 4th row for this restart. Green flag back in the air. 42 laps complete at Bristol. Side by side off of turn number 2 for the teammates. Ooh, further back, Sailor with a big moment. And a 24 had to catch it off at 2. Got a little bit of a bump out back. Was able to save it. No further contact. Nice job, everybody, to keep it together through that. There's Quentin Clark in the 00. Another one of the Riot Motorsports teammates going by Kenneth Bartholomew. Glenn Grigsby, one of the independent drivers, sitting in the middle of this chaos. By the way, Grigsby, he's up 4 positions from where he started this race at. And we're on the outside here, going to try to fend off the 73. But he did kiss the wall right there, and that's going to hinder his progress a little bit as, Ryan Haynes and Johnny McCulchuk, they almost had some contact of their own. And, I mean, it's a product of this place. It's what we expect to see. We saw it a little bit at Phoenix, but I wouldn't be surprised if you're seeing a lot more of it towards the end of this race here tonight. You'll see it at Martinsville when we head there a little bit later in the season. It's just when you come to these short tracks, especially a track like Bristol, I mean, granted, this is one of the short tracks where there's a little bit more passing opportunities, but at the end of the day, sometimes you still got to use the chrome horn. I don't know if we'll see so much of teammate on teammate contact, but certainly if you feel like you got to give a guy a nudge, if you've been following him for too many laps and feel like he's not giving you much help, it's certainly an option here at a track like Bristol. You got to be real careful with it. But at the same time, flip side of that, a lot of laps here means a lot of chances to work these passes. And it's not like if we go to a 1.5 mile track where we're expecting, maybe 1 to 2 passes a lap. The restarts maybe, sure, but once things start to settle in and we start to go through these runs, it's going to be exactly like what you just saw there with Tyler Marble. At the very least, it's going to take potentially a couple corners, and with what we saw with Danny Gutierrez and Andrew Mraz at the start of the race, it could very well take a couple laps. That's just the art of passing here at Bristol, and we call it an art, of course, till the patience runs out. But getting back real quick and finish it off on the point with Shiro Motorsports and the job we've seen them do this season, it's really been remarkable. I mean, you look at where they were last season, Todd, Ryan, Shiro, a little bit of almost, I want to say, disorganization, and you could just tell the struggles were there, the speed was there, but they couldn't quite put it all together, and you can tell that they're continuing to develop that relationship as teammates. And here tonight, maybe not showing right now, Shiro going in the right direction, Todd going in the wrong direction. But again, overall as a team, early on in the season, doing a pretty good job. And right there in this mix, how about Jeff Marble, the captain for Team Marble iRacing? Boy, he is tearing his way through the field. I don't think he's too concerned about tire saving right now. And something tells you that's a little bit of that veteran presence telling you that he probably thinks there's going to be at least, I can almost guarantee you there's going to be at least one more caution. So right now he's just more focused on trying to get any track position back that he can. But boy, look at the effort there. I mean, we talk about endurance for certain tracks. This is one of those tracks that not only is it rhythm-based, but it's brutal. I mean, you got to remember, you are working that steering wheel for over 250 laps, door to door. And so as we take away the driver cam, we're going to go to the actual onboard view here for Jeff Marble for just a moment. The cockpit view, look at the speed that these guys get up to down the straight. I mean, this is remarkable. Again, this is a short track, ladies and gentlemen. Less than just about half a mile. And they're hitting almost 150 miles an hour down the straightaways. Of course, this is also part of the beauty that they get of open setups, but definitely a ton of speed, which is what's going to lead to a ton of tire wear. And then, I mean, down to, they don't even get under 100 through the corners, at least not yet. Might be a different story as tires continue to fall off, and now finds himself in the middle of a traffic jam here. Jeff Marble, that is, has up front in this group. Ryan Shiro leads Mark Zabak, and then 2x2, Cody Matthews, Thomas O'Hara. Nowhere really for either of those two drivers to go at the moment as they continue to stay side by side. And there's an option for 3 wide here. I would have to say that it's probably not an encouraged one, but if you got to try to do what you got to do, then certainly might see a couple guys try it at some point. Nice crossover move right there from Johnny McCulchuk in the 72. We talked about he was carrying 2 cans for us here tonight. A little side-by-side view at the same time. Johnny McCulchuk, he's got the pedal cam and the driver cam. We'll focus more on the pedal cam here for just a moment before we go back to the actual driver cam. But watch his feet. They're doing quite a bit of work here. As you see, he gets on the gas out of the corner, and you can't just put your foot on the floor. You got to baby the throttle, getting back into it, and we'll see the pedals come even more into play again as the run goes on and tires start to fade, but hard on the brakes down into the corner. And then, of course, use the banking to your advantage. Almost as a little bit of a brake itself. Wash up the banking, then rotate it back down the corner, but looking laser focused. And then, I know we've mentioned it a couple times, but a little bit of the Dale Jr. signature there as he puts the right hand over to the left side. So he works his way through the corners. A couple more driver cams to get through, but we're going to make a stop back up front first. Where, contact! Danny Gutierrez is going to go around the 08 into the inside wall. Third caution of the night. And that wasn't pretty. Looked like Gutierrez was racing pretty hard in a battle for what looked to be the second or third position, and they just all ran out of room coming off of turn number 2. Danny Gutierrez got the wrong end of the stick. Well, we talked about 3 wide was an option here, maybe not the best option. And this is going to be a little bit of an unfortunate timing kind of incident here, as it looks like they're going to come up on a lapper here. That's the 13 of Nick Sitchie, right as the 97 is setting up this pass. And so at this point, I mean, actually, we'll back this up all the way to where they enter the corner. Gutierrez, they had been racing side by side for a lap or 2 here. Gutierrez on the bottom. He's going to try to drive clear. Not quite, but of course, he's got to slide up a little bit out of the corner. And I got to think maybe he was expecting the 97 to move up, but I mean, Mraz, he's got to run here, and he sees That the 13 is up top, can't take that. And by the way, I meant to say Michael Mueller had taken the lead, actually, since we were last back at the front. But, I mean, again, 3 wide. You can see why it doesn't work, as Gutierrez had to come off the corner there, and the 97 was still there. They make contact. Gutierrez gets in to the left front of Andrew Mraz. That sends him up into Nick Sitchie before he's going to head back down the racetrack. Gets tagged again lightly by the 97. This is where the hit's going to do all the damage. That's a pretty big tag to the inside wall for Danny Gutierrez. You got to wonder if that broke a right front toe link. Certainly hope it didn't. That could be a lot of damage for the 08. Again, not what he wanted to have here early on after a phenomenal qualifying effort, and what looked like was going to be a great chance to show off the speed that the 08 brought to the track tonight. So much anymore. There's the initial contact, and there's the second hit. Give you one more view of this here from straight ahead from the TV static cam. Again, I mean, this is 3 wrecks in a row that somehow everybody's been able to escape. And from what we did see at Bristol last season, that's not the case. Now, look at this, might have worked out for Alan Pajari in the 34 machine. This is a little interesting right here. Remember, he pit under the last caution, took tires. So a little bit of strategy play. I mean, he kind of has to stay out here. Haven't ran enough laps for him to go in and waste another set. And on the contrary to that, a lot of guys who have not pit yet, it was finally time to make their first stop of the night, as we are now about 16 laps, over a fifth of the way through this race. So, I mean, looking at it here, yeah, pretty much every single driver pit that, again, did not pit under that last green flag stop, or excuse me, under that last caution. And so that sets us up for the position that we're in now. Jeff Schutt says, I'm on vacation in Puerto Rico. Wish I was on tonight watching the action. And I'll tell you what, Jeff, certainly sounds like you're having a pretty good time, so appreciate you stopping by. Taking a little vacation from the vacation, if you will. Watch these guys go at it. Rooting on his teammate, got assumed tonight, Johnny McCulchuk in the 72. But we took an onboard view there. Currently back in 24th, up 2 positions from where he started this race at. As the lights go off on the pace car, getting ready to go back to green flag racing. We talked about track temp, which, by the way, has gone up a little bit since we started this race, now at 80 degrees. Sim time right now about 4 o'clock. Winds at 8 miles an hour coming out of the north, maybe a little bit more northwest. Humidity 38%, cloudy skies. Beautiful day for racing overall. Here we go, green flag back in the air at Bristol. Not the best jump this time for Alan Pajari. In fact, it's the rookie, the 02 of Adam Johnson, who gets out to a stellar lead off of turn 2. He's going to get clear of the 34. Problem is now he's got a lot of hungry guys that are going to be following him here. The 3 of Jared Bundy and the 48 of Tyler Marble. Michael Mueller still stuck on the bottom. Now he's going to be able to make the move up top. His teammate Andrew Mraz will get stuck behind the 34 now. And he's trying to get clear. Jacob Musso 3 wide. Usually not a good idea here, but they make it work right there. Tyler Marble trying to get clear of the 99. He knows how much this track position can mean, but he's not going to be able to do it. Michael Mueller drives it in hard on the bottom, and he'll get clear of the 02 of Adam Johnson before they get down to turn number 3. And now he sets his sights on the new leader here tonight. First lap's being led of the night for Jared Bundy in the 3 machine. We talk about clean air all the time, but it's not quite as important here at Bristol. Interestingly enough, it's going to have a little bit of effect. I mean, you're getting up to still 150 down to the entrance of the corner. A little bit more downforce certainly wouldn't hurt, but I mean, the point is at the end of the day that this is all about tire management, and of course, who's got a little bit of a better setup and a little more speed around this racetrack. And the 99 is not letting Jared Bundy go anywhere, not right now, but they have separated themselves from 3rd and 4th. Andrew Mraz, Tyler Marble already back over a second behind your 2 leaders. And while we haven't had enough of a run for this to be too much of a factor yet, we did see some of it already a couple different times, including with that last incident involving Danny Gutierrez, and that is lap traffic. And you look at your track map there, I mean, already just in the span of about 5 laps since we went back green, these guys are all separated by about a half a track. And right now, the last man currently running on track, or excuse me, due up to go a lap down, is Danny Gutierrez in the 32. Of course, came in, had to get all that damage fixed up, so puts him in a little bit of a predicament right now, but a couple cautions. As long as he doesn't find himself going too many laps down, I think he's okay. Again, only 1 down for the moment, and still has a lot of wiggle room to work with before the next guy after him would go a lap down. So he's in the lucky dog position, but he's going to probably need a caution here sooner than later. Back up front, Michael Mueller Now knocking on the back door of Jared Bundy, who's still actually doing a pretty good job defending. Right now, what has looked like the fastest car on the racetrack. That is two Dark Horse Mustangs leading the group. In fact, the manufacturer breakdown right now, domination by the Fords, currently rounding out your top 3 before it's 2 Chevys round out the top 5. No Toyotas in the top 10 for the current moment. Manufacturer battles, of course, don't matter too much here, but definitely interesting to see that all the Riot Motorsports teammates that went with Fords, how much speed they've had early on in the season, but Chevy been giving it right back, of course, with the speed that Austin Fitzgerald's had. For Dynamic Auto Sports, can't forget about Alan Pajari as well. Jared Bundy still wrapping the bottom as Michael Mueller is doing it. I mean, it's kind of a dead heat right now. These two at a standstill. Mueller's been trying a couple things different, but still has not been able to find a way to get around the 3 of Jared Bundy. We'll see if he tries to move the line up or maybe try to get a little bit more of an arc off the corner. See if he can't get a run. He got one this time. The 3 slipped up. The 99's going to look low down into turn number 3. Bundy able to defend that move off, and he'll lead yet another lap here at Bristol tonight. Trying to get all he can. Now, again, no stage breaks here in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series, so definitely really, really interesting the way things work. With 74 now of Austin Fitzgerald on the bottom of the racetrack. The 17 of Kyle Oakley up top. Oakley, one of the SWM Motorsports drivers. He's finding some speed here and out towards the early middle portions of this run. There's the 17, the onboard cam again, as Austin Fitzgerald's going to have to duck in line behind. He had nowhere to go. And we do still have a couple more onboards to get to tonight that we haven't touched on just yet. I want to get to those guys before we go any further. I think actually the only one that we haven't got to yet, last but certainly not least, going all the way back towards the middle portions of the pack. Actually better than that because he has been flying through the field himself. One of the BMP Racing drivers, Ryan Haynes. He's up 14 spots from where he started, the driver out of Center Hill, Florida. He's up to 16th, getting qualified 30th. So certainly showing you that qualifying pace doesn't always translate to race pace, is who the 9 of Mark Sabak with a big moment just in front of the 39. And so that slip-up will give Ryan Haynes a chance to pick up yet another spot. See the nice setup he's got, the triple monitors. A little bit of a head shake right there. Not sure he's not like the way the car is driving right now or what's going on with the 9 in front of him, but he's certainly going to be trying to complete that pass pretty quick. Saw Jeff Marble continuing to work his way up through the pack. Now in 13th, looking to pick off this spot here from the 20 of Ryan Sure. Boy, he got loose. I'm telling you, if we had to put a heart rate monitor, wrecking up front just in front of Marble, that was Wes Hurd Jr. Saves it, no caution. We keep it green. Wow, what a save from the 12, but what a big moment that was. And I was just getting ready to say, if we were to put a heart rate monitor on any of the drivers, I think it'd be the highest right now on Jeff Marble because he is working. I mean, look at the wheel input right now, and I think that probably just made the heart rate go up even more. As what a close moment that was. These guys are all still trying to gather up back here. I mean, this caused all sorts of chaos. Marble gets through it now as he picks up a couple more spots, up to 10th. But man, of all the drivers that look like they are putting down a blazing pace, he is working right now. Jeff Marble continues to be your biggest mover through the field, at least for now. Qualified good, but of course had to start in the pits. Not sure if it was a misstart on accident or what the deal was. But man, oh man, what a close call that was just a lap ago for Wes Hurd Jr. Let's back this up and see exactly what got everybody stacked up. I mean, of course, we know it was the 12 car, but what exactly caused this major stack up here? Did he just get some contact? Oh no, he was up in the wall, and then he's going to come down. Oh, he gets some help. The 19, the rookie, Tai Polito, is going to get into his back bumper here. This is getting down into, I believe, is this 1 and 2, it looks like. Yeah, just slight contact there. That wasn't much. Maybe a little bit of the chrome horn, but gotta wonder if Ty was maybe thinking that the 12 was going to take the bottom of the racetrack. He didn't. And so then when they get down here, there's a little bit of a contact. And maybe there may not have even been contact. It was really, really close. It almost looked like, boy, I'm telling you, if Ty hit him, he just gave him a love tap. And I know it doesn't take much with how sensitive the next gens are, but getting down in the corner, there's definitely a little contact there. That's what gets Wes out of the groove. And then once he gets up the tracks, the 19 goes to get below. Look here, he's going to get just a little bit of net code there on his left rears. They're already close. iRacing thinks they're making contact. And then they do make contact, of course, once the 12 goes around. Gets down the racetrack. It almost rips his front bumper off before he gets back up into the outside wall. Now he's trying to save it, coming back down the racetrack. Wow, Mark Zabak was lucky to get through that one. How about the job that Ryan Haynes did as well? And then we saw Jeff Marble, Johnny McCulchuk, a bunch of others sneak through this one. And man, oh man, it was not by much. We got to go back one more. I know we want to get back to the action live, but watch the onboard view here for Ryan Haynes. I mean, he can't see it until now. He goes to dive low. Oh my goodness. What a close call. Nice piece of driving. Everybody to make it through that one clean. So up front, lead change. Michael Mueller has taken it over from Jared Bundy. Andrew Mraz in third. Tyler Marble fourth. Jacob Musso back in fifth. Kyle Oakley sixth. Brian Conklin in seventh. Austin Fitzgerald back in eighth. Brandon Saylor in ninth. And Jeff Marble still hanging around your top 10, looking for another position here. Ty-Eve Polito, who we saw make that contact with the 12 Wesser Jr. Got to think maybe there's a little bit of hard feelings from the 12 machine now. So these two meet each other back at any point later in the race. 12 might not be giving him certainly any breaks. That is one of the Dynamic Autosports rookies who's been so impressive this season. Maybe lagging just slightly behind a couple of his teammates, or excuse me, his other rookie teammate rather, of Jake Hickson, who we actually don't see out here tonight. And so that's going to cause an interesting shakeup in the points, but this green flag run starting to become a bit more of a long green flag run. And that means that lap traffic is starting to play a role as Michael Mueller's catching the first big wave of lappers here. And when they get 2 by 2, that's where things start to get dicey. And if you're the last car to lead lap, you're not wanting to give up this positioning too easy because, you know, if you get a caution, you don't want to have to be the guy hoping to get the lucky dog. You want to be the guy that's just able to continue to go around, of course, by staying on the lead lap and just tag on to the tail end of the field here. But the 99 putting out a blazing pace himself. Now, we have a decent idea of what lap times are looking like here at the start of the race. Let me tell you, they have not dropped off much. 15.261 from a 14.8 just a few laps ago. That's a big drop off. What I meant to say is they have not dropped off like they did in the real life Cup race. And so while tire wear is definitely a concern, definitely not as bad as what maybe some of the drivers could have been expecting coming into the race. But testament to every single one of the drivers in the field tonight is just the time, the effort, and the practice that everybody puts down coming into these races. Ooh, Jared Bundy, big slip up. Just as I start to mention tire wear, you got to wonder if the 3 cars' tires are starting to wear out a little bit. As we'll hop on the roll bar camera here for just a lap or so. We'll go back to the dashboard speeds. Still running a blistering pace in the corners here. I mean, you see about 140 down the straights, but now getting down below 100 in the corners. Part of that being that he's trying to get by the inside there of Alan Pajari. Pajari, that is not for position. That is, he had already got lapped by the leader. Now just trying to hold on as much as he can and hope that he can keep himself not lucky. Oh, the 34 got loose. Got into the outside wall. There may have been a little help there from Jared Bundy. 34's got damage. Caught my eye at the last second there. Boy, that could have been big. Man, that was a lucky, lucky break. Not so much for Alan Pajari. I'm talking about for the field here. Is watch this one. I think that maybe Jared Bundy just... did he get into him here? If they get down into the corner, Bundy's going to take a dive to the inside? No, he never touches him. But the way the 34 slides up, I mean, he's laying down tire track. I think there was a little bit of net code there. Boom, right there on the left rear. I got to believe that's what that was. I mean, certainly the 34 could have got loose, but it's just a really odd look for the way that he got loose. Usually wouldn't snap around quite that quick. Here's the onboard shot. Yeah, that's definitely a little bit of net code right there. So that's a tough break, but good save again for Pajari to keep it going as he got split and had his hands full for about the next lap or so after that, but again was still able to keep it all together. Right on board now with Michael Mueller up front. He's got a little bit of clean track. As you see now, the shadows starting to project onto different portions of the racetrack. Gotta wonder, will that cool track temp down here a little bit? 87, no, doing the opposite. Track temp continues to go up, so handling may start to become more of an issue here until track temp starts to cool back down. But right now, Michael Mueller with a just about 1.5 second lead on second place. Jared Bundy, Tyler Marble back in third now. Caution is out. Third one of the night. Fourth one, excuse me. Trying to find who this one's going to collect. Danny Gutierrez again. This time, though, heavy damage to the 08. The front end of his dark horse Ford Mustang is just about to fall off. Looks like the front is caved in. The rear is pretty damaged as well. I mean, he took a hard shot off of something here. Again, only fourth caution of the night here in 116 laps. So not too bad in terms of pace here and strategy. Guys not going to have to worry about running out of tires at this pace. But nope, all by himself here, gets loose, and then, man, the one thing that you always fear as a driver when you're trying to save it, the overcorrection here. Boy, it was a big one at that. Tagged the 6 of Todd Shiro. That was where he gets all the front end damage and then got T-boned. And I think Todd Shiro actually saved it there after what looked like was initially going to be a big hit. Ooh, maybe not. Unless this was from the contact from Gutierrez, but see the right front toe link there destroyed, broken. So, see, is this from the contact here? No. That didn't break the toe link. Unfortunately, I think he's going to hit this inside wall pretty hard right here. Does he miss it? Oh, he misses the inside wall, and that means he's going to come up here and tag the outside wall instead. Oh, big hit for the 6. Tank slapper to the right side. And that's what breaks that right front suspension for Todd Shiro. You see it there. Yeah, that's going to be heavy repairs just to get back out on the racing surface. And so, Danny Gutierrez here. We're going to go to the onboard and watch this. I mean, again, it does not take much. And when it snaps around on you as a driver, it's just not much you can do except try to correct it a little bit. But the next gen's different from what we've seen before. But you put just a little bit too much steering wheel into him on the correction, and there it is. I mean, he tries to get it back left, but it's just too easy to get behind on the steering. And there's that slight over correction before he runs into Todd Shiro. That's what does all the damage to the 08, but I think getting equally just as much damage from this one was Todd Shiro after he took that big hit into the outside wall, trying to save it. Tire tracks tell the story. I mean, you know, even if you get on the brakes as soon as you start wrecking here, it's not a lot of time at a track that's this fast. As you saw, Gutierrez got tagged by Bill Benedict as well, so that gives him some damage in the process. And then here's one more view of the 06's contact, or excuse me, the 6's contact with the outside wall. There's the tank slapper. I wouldn't be surprised if that broke the rear toe link as well. Looks like it did stay intact, but of course the right front not so much. As you see the 77 arriving on scene, Greg Bartlett. So as we go back live, this was interesting in terms of pit stops and pit sequences, and we're going to go to that and let you know at least what it was looking like here after the caution. And honestly, pretty easy call. Looks like everybody brought it down to the pits, and shouldn't be too surprised here. This is what it looked like as just about the whole field decided it was time for fresh tires and to fill it up with fuel. And might be getting to that point now where we may be starting to think about being in that fuel window. So you see all the leaders coming down to the pits. Only guys staying out were the ones that were looking for a wave around. And so now that everybody's back on fresh tires, it's going to cause for a lot of battling here right off the restart, as we're just about 5 laps. In fact, going to be exactly 5 laps away from halfway. We cross the stripe here this time. Green flag back in the air. 130 laps to go at Bristol. Good restart for the front row. Michael Mueller not quite going to be able to get clear down into turn 1, but he is going to get clear off of turn number 2. Jared Bundy trying to roll the top, able to hold some momentum, but he did skim the outside wall there, coming off of 2. So now Bundy playing the chasing game on the 99, who was chasing him last restart. Just behind them, Jared Bundy, Kyle Oakley side by side. Michael Mueller stuck behind those two. Excuse me, not Michael Mueller, Andrew Moraz. Apologize, got the paint schemes mixed up there for just a moment. That is another one of the Riot Motorsports teammates, though. And how about Quentin Clark, who we saw with all the speed in the world at Phoenix, at least in terms of the short run, and showing tonight at Bristol that he's got some speed in the long run, too, because he has made up 22 positions where he qualified in this race at. He qualified 32nd, so definitely not the start that the 00 may have liked, but he's been learning, been getting a lot of practice, certainly with the amount of guys that he's had to pass here tonight. It's paying off pretty nicely right now as he sets himself up to see if he can get around this next group of traffic, which is one of the rookies, Brandon R. Saylor, and then Wes Hurd Jr. in the 12. Man, almost some contact there. Close quarters racing. Now back and up front now, Jared Bundy has fallen about 5 car lengths off the back bumper of your leader. Tyler Marble in 3rd. Kyle Oakley still putting a lot of pressure on the 48 in 4th, and then side by side for 5th. It's a 97 of Andrew Moraz trying to get around the 74 of Austin Fitzgerald. He's going to do so. Big moment, though. He got really, really loose there off of turn number 2. He was able to save it. Jeff Marble up to 7th now. That puts him up 14 in total. Well, actually, I take that back because he qualified 14th, but again, didn't start the race from there. Whistler Jr. back in 9th. Then Quentin Clark, who we talked about rounding out your top 10. A little bit of single file action for about the next 7 positions. And then you got Glenn Grigsby and Brett Spod in the 35 going at it. Brett Spod in the 19th. He's up 12 from where he started. And looking for his teammate, Ryan Haynes. He's going to have to look up through the field a little bit more. Talked about Haynes having a solid night early. Still in 15th, up 15 from where he started. So still with a good shot at maybe bringing home a top 10 here tonight before this thing's all said and done. Thomas O'Hara, Greg Bartlick, Johnny McCallchuck, multiple others here. There's a little bit of a crossover. Right there's the 38's going to jump to the inside. That's Christopher Hall, who we haven't talked much about tonight. Up 9 positions from where he started this race at. And you know, a good night at Bristol, and this is what it really used to be, and I mean, in my opinion, it still kind of is, was just keeping yourself on the lead lap and keeping the car clean, and you'd be amazed at how good of a shot that gave you at the end of the race. As caution's back out, this one's for Andrew Russo in the 88. As he has gone around, ooh, heavy front end damage. In fact, front end's gone. So as the 99 comes to a halt just for the pace car, the 88's going to have to stay behind the pace car as well. So this will not only cost him a bunch of damage repair, but it's going to cost him a lap too, it looks like. Yeah, that certainly has all the looks like. He either went about 90 degrees into the outside wall or 90 degrees into the inside wall here. It's going to looks like it's going to be another incident all by himself here. He's rolling the outside, running back in the mid-20s. And man, I'm telling you, it's almost a carbon copy of where Danny Gutierrez gets loose. Only difference is he's not able to get it back corrected and back up the track. Instead, he's going to go down the track and tag the inside wall. Really hard shot. That's what rips the nose piece off of his Dark Horse Ford Mustang. So he backs up, gets back rolling, but I mean, the damage was done. Lucky again that this didn't collect anyone. We've still yet to see a big incident tonight. Showing you that everybody's doing a nice job heads up driving. It was probably for the best though that he did slide down there. That certainly put him out of harm's way in terms of, or in rather regards to the rest of the field. But it's just, you know, when you dimed it off the corner there, sometimes the car doesn't stick, and right there it's beyond saving. You got to get out of the throttle and hope that it's catching as you start to turn the wheel back around, but just never did. And in fact, I want to back this up and take a listen. Yeah, it just took him a little bit too long there to roll out of the throttle once he started spinning. And you know, that's easy for me to say, of course, up here in the booth. It's a lot harder to do as a driver down on track. And well, he was certainly trying. See the wheels full locked right, but just not quite enough. So you got to expect, of course, that this one wouldn't bring anybody down for a pit stop, and doesn't look like it's going to do anything of the sort. 134 laps now complete, though, here. Fastest half mile in all of racing. And it is still Michael Mueller being scored as your leader, Jared Bundy second, and Mraz in third, Tyler Marble fourth, and Kyle Oakley in fifth. Well, I'll tell you what, Jared Bundy has been having a heck of a night here, at least as of recent, once he grabbed the track position. Let's see if we can get a quick word with him here. Hey, Jared, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Oh, man, what a run it's been here tonight. You worked your way up. A couple positions. Good qualifying effort, of course, but since you've gotten to the front row here, looks like you've been doing a pretty good job of holding on to track position. How's the car been feeling tonight, and what's going to be the game plan here the rest of the way?
Car's been feeling awesome. Rolling through the center real well. But once that bottom starts to heat up from everybody running and trying to save tire, you got to start searching around for grip, and I think that's where Mueller has me beat. Once I have to start searching, I kind of struggle. That's where he starts to pull. But in terms of strategy, you got one more set left. You got to make this one count and the next one. So we're going to see what happens.
Wow, didn't know that too. All right, well, thanks for the insight there on tires, but been doing a good job so far. We'll see if you can hang on the rest of the way, maybe capture that first one of the season.
Yeah, we'll see. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, there we go. And tell you what, it's always nice to get the driver interviews for reasons like that too. Threw us for a loop in the strategy. I mean, I know we've seen a couple pit stops, but I guess all things considered, 4 sets of tires, they go pretty quick here. Guys have already taken 3, and then of course plus the ones they've started on. So yeah, that certainly does change some things up as we're backing away with Green Flag Racing. 137 laps now complete. And we've still got over 100 laps to go. So you really do have to be careful with this tire set. In fact, it's going to be 110 here. Just about 2 laps. So you figure probably need to make it about halfway. I'm telling you, you want to be able to use that last tire set to play offense. You don't want to have to take it and then be worried about playing defense the rest of the way. So it'll be really interesting here if we get another caution, maybe around halfway through this run, if guys go in to take them or if they stay out, try to save them towards the end. Too wide. Ooh, Jeff Marble had to get out of it right there, just in front of Wesser Jr., who did a good job of checking up Brandon Arcelo on the outside of these two. And he's going to try to see if he can roll by the 15. 74 of Fitzgerald still on the bottom. The 17 of Kyle Oakley up top. Quentin Clark in the 00 still in 10th, up 22, trying to pick up a couple more. Brian Conklin, Ryan Shiro, Tai Polito. And if we zoom this out a little bit here, actually instead of the blimp cam, we're going to go to TV3 here. This gives you kind of a good idea of what the spread's looking like around the racetrack. There you see the leader as he crosses the stripe. We've got guys that are just now entering turn number 3. The 97, though, since he was able to get back around Jared Bundy, has give the fight back to his teammate right here, Michael Mueller, getting ready to try to hold off his teammate Andrew Mraz in the 97. And those two Riot Motorsports teammates both showing you the speed that they've been able to bring to the track, every track rather, this season. And it's just so impressive. I mean, I've only been broadcasting here now a season and a half as, the 97 got loose there again off of turn number 4. We've seen that a couple times tonight for Andrew Mraz. But, I mean, I've only been broadcasting here for now about a season and a quarter. But, we had rookies last season and none of them quite did what we've seen the rookies from this season be able to do. And that shows you just the level and the intensity that sim racing has brought to the table with new drivers finding speed so early. And it's important to note that while they're rookies in this series, they're not rookies to iRacing. Well over 3,000 iRatings, so certainly a good basis to start for these two. And then, I mean, you talk about some of the veterans in the field, and we see iRatings well over 4,000 or 5,000. Don't know if we've seen anybody with 6,000 just yet, but we certainly have a couple that are right there on the edge of it. So a lot of good mix, a lot of diversity in terms of skill level here for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. But one thing is for sure, everybody bringing fast setups each and every week. There's Todd Shiro on the 6, who unfortunately, after being involved in that last wreck, got some of the damage repaired, but certainly that car is going to be hurting the rest of the way. That's going to be the first lap car that these guys come up on this run. Then after that, they're going to have a little bit of ways before they run into the next wave of lap traffic, which is currently entering turn number 1 as they exit turn number 4. And so, I mean, we're just now going to be hitting 100 laps to go. At normal tracks, we'd be saying that's a long ways to go. Here at Bristol, not so much. That's going to go by here in a pretty quick hurry. So with that knowledge in mind, I think it may be time to start thinking about maybe using the tires up a little bit, trying to gain some of that track position back. As we see Kyle Oakley still hanging on to a top 6 right now, trying to break into the top 5. There's the onboard view, and we see a lot of these onboard cams, and we need to have, I almost think we need to have a contest for which driver looks the coolest, calmest, and collected on the driver cams. I think it would be really close between Johnny Mikulchuk and Kyle Oakley. Both of these guys, I mean, Oakley right now is running for all he's worth in 6, but you wouldn't know it based off the facial expressions. Chewing some gum. Looks like he's out on a Sunday drive right now, all while doing it about 140 miles an hour at the high banks of Bristol Motor Speedway. 12 of Wesser Jr. picks up another spot. Jeff Wobble back in 8th. Quentin Clark in 9th. Austin Fitzgerald rounding out your top 10. Brian Conklin back in 11th. Tai Polito in 12th. Ryan Shiro in 13th. Going to pick up a spot here. That'll actually move him back to 14th, as Ryan Haynes is what I meant to say, picked up the spot. Moved him up to 13th. And, while we have a chance, certainly the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series appreciates all the sponsors. Of course, the title of the series, the Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. But one of the new sponsors that they added on this season with BMP Racing, Brett Spod, Ryan Haynes, Brett Spod owner, and then general manager Ryan Haynes. But go-kart track in Bushnell, Florida, had a chance to go check these guys out just about a week ago as spring break got started, and I've been to a couple of the outdoor facilities and none quite like that. I mean, I'm telling you, the straightaway, you get to do drafting similar to what you might see at a track like Daytona, Talladega, and then sharp corners. Definitely out of the few outdoor tracks that I've been to, if you're looking for a similar feel and the best outdoor kart racing you can get, make sure you go check those guys out. Again, located in Bushnell, Florida. Good pricing and very, very fun racing. Love those karts, and good to see a good run here tonight for Ryan Haynes. Back up front, still a battle between the two rookies, the two teammates. Michael Mueller leads the way, Andrew Mraz second. Again, kind of a stalemate again. 0.3 of a second's been the gap, and Mraz hasn't been able to close much more since. Jared Bundy fell back a little bit, but he said it's all about managing the tires and the track position. I think he's doing a pretty good job of balancing both right now. Tyler Marble in 4th, and there is Kyle Oakley in 5th, who's now side by side with Brandon Saylor, who's came out of nowhere and found some speed here towards the latter portions of this race. 24 going to be taking a look to the outside here. The 17, maybe no. He's going to duck back down in line. Westher Jr. back in 7th, Quentin Clark in 8th, Jeff Marble in 9th, and Austin Fitzgerald running out your top 10. Brian Conklin in 11th, Ty Iopolito in 12th, Ryan Haynes 13th, Ryan Shiro 14th. There's a stop with Kenneth Bartholomew. He is back in that 15th spot. Been a pretty good night so far. He's down a position before he started, but again, consistency, the name of the game, especially when you come to the series as a rookie. This is one of the drivers that Belief doesn't currently... Actually, I forgot if he was on a team or if he was one of the independent drivers. I think he might be one of the SWM Motorsports drivers. I believe he was, in fact. Usually they have the logo somewhere on the car. I'm not seeing it right now, but the point is, Bartholomew been doing a great job up to this point throughout the season. And in terms of rookie standings, going to be a driver to watch the rest of the way. John McCulchuk back in 16th, Brett Spott in 17th. Thomas O'Hara 18th, Cody Matthews 19th, and Glenn Grigsby rounding out your top 20. Troy Baker 21st, Greg Bartlett 22nd, Bill Benedict 23rd, Christopher Hall 24th, Mark Zabak 25th, Adam Johnson 26th, Andrew Russo in 27th, and that just about is where the leaders start. After that is lap traffic coming into play again here now. Michael Mueller, he had clean track for a little while, but now you see it on the track map. Excuse me, no, he's going to get clean traffic. I was looking a couple rows back, where it looks like Andrew Mraz has really caught this lap traffic, or more than that, this car has really just fallen off pace out of nowhere. Don't see much, I don't see any damage on the 97, so again, not sure what happened, but almost similar to what we did see in the Cup race on Sunday, where some of the cars just out of nowhere, it's like a light switch. All of a sudden they turn off, and all the speed that it seemed like they may have had kind of goes out the window. By the way, again, shout out to everybody tuning in here tonight. If you don't mind, please let me know how everything sounds and looks. Again, I can't check that. I can only do so much from my point of view, so if you can let me know how things look and sound from, of course, the watching view, it certainly helps a ton. So if you don't mind, just let me know in the live chat. But we did have a couple more people join in. Karen Williams, good to see you out here. Scott Glassos is watching from Florida here tonight. Well, I'm going to join you in that. I am broadcasting from Florida here, Scott, so good to see you, I guess, in the Sunshine State. Karen Williams says, oh, darn, number 4. That was in reference to, of course, Scott Glasso not racing here tonight, I believe. Westher Jr. on the outside now of Andrew Mraz. He makes another spot, and man, the 97 right here, you got to think he is just praying that we can get a caution or something, because he just continues to lose spots. The 99 still looking strong, but, you know, if this thing stays green, this could be the longest run we've had here of the night, so that would certainly set some things up, rather, in terms of who's got long run speed versus who had short run speed. Quentin Clark up to 7th, continuing to dice his way through the field as Westher Jr. They're almost got up into the outside wall. Austin Fitzgerald back in 8th, and Jeff Marble still up in 10th. And boy, no matter how this ends, if he can get a top 10, this has got to feel like a win tonight for Jeff Marble. It was a great recovery after a rocky start, of course, with going a lap down by missing the start, but he was able to get that early caution. Got his lap back. He's been fighting to get back towards the front, and once he did, he's been able to hang on, and he gets loose off of turn number 4. What a save from Jeff Marble. We caught it just towards the end of the driver cam. Oh my goodness, he had his hands full. Jeff Marble is wheeling it. We have got to back that one up. That may have been the save of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh, what a moment for Jeff Marble. He was rolling on the bottom here, trying to catch this group, and I mean, it doesn't even sound like he's getting too eager with the throttle. The car just starts to rotate when he does get in the throttle, though, here, and watch the save. Look at his hands. Immediately bails out of the throttle, and actually what it sounds like here, and I want to go to TV1, it sounds like he may have briefly locked up the brakes. Maybe not. Sounded a little bit like it. Now, one of the things with these next gens that's really, really interesting that we don't see with any of the other series is when you get out of shape, if you slam on the brakes, it actually points the car back straight, depending on, of course, the scenario you're in. get, excuse me, if I should say, instead of slamming on the brakes, you get pretty hard on the brakes. So I think that was a little bit of what happened there. The 9 down, and Michael Mueller now working through some of this lap traffic. Just got around the 38 of Christopher Hall. And next up is going to be the 34 here of Alan Pajari. And if you look at your scoring tower, kind of gauge out how many laps down everybody is and what the last car on the lead lap is right now. I believe it is Mark Sabak in the 9, who's in 24th. So 25th on back is either a lap or more down, or of course had to retire from the night due to damage or some sort of other circumstance. So definitely setting us up here for an interesting finish if this thing continues to go green, which is honestly, I would think, what Michael Mueller wants to see right now. Jared Bundy, who's in second, is starting to gain some ground back, but the more guys that you're able to put a lap down, the less guys you have to worry about if we see a late caution in the final 70 laps or so of this race. And ooh, Bundy, door slams with Alan Pajari. These two have had a couple run-ins here tonight, and I don't think any of it was meant to be intentional, but if you're Bundy, you got to be a little careful there. Pajari, not the way his night, or the night not going the way he wanted, so he may not have too many good feelings about returning the chrome horn there if they were to keep bumping and banging. But Bundy's able to complete the pass, and now he's going to try to get around Mark Sabak before he sets his sights again on the leader of Michael Mueller. 184 laps complete at Bristol. Michael Mueller leads the way for Riot Motorsports. We'll be right back. Stick with us. We're going to go side by side. Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway. It's the Bristol Spring 250, and you are watching the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series presented by the Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist here on Ghost Racing Network. Nothing really changed too much since we've been on break. I mean, Jared Bundy, no real closing of the gap, but not really an extension either for Michael Mueller. It's been sitting right around. Well, it was half a second, and just as I said that, he got trapped in some lap traffic there, and it fell back further towards a second. But I think Bundy's got himself a pretty good piece to work with here tonight if he can make it through and this is another question here. I think I kind of took for granted the fact that we were maybe expecting at least one more caution, but if this thing goes green, you really got to start questioning what the tire strategy looks like. I mean, we went back green with just over 110 laps to go. I'm not sure if these guys can quite make the fuel mileage, but I think even a bigger question than that is, can they make it on tires, even if they could make the fuel? A couple people watching in chat. Biblical Marriage just says, sounds great. Thank you for that. Certainly appreciate it. Karen Williams says, Coach, need more likes. I agree, Karen. Certainly appreciate it. Glad that you are enjoying it. Tyler Marble, Austin Fitzgerald side by side. I heard a little contact. Somebody tagged the outside safer barrier there. I'm not sure exactly who it was. And here's the 97 of Andrew Moraz setting up a pass on Adam Johnson, or excuse me, going the other way around. I mean, I cannot get over what happened to Moraz here. Part of me wonders, was it a strategy call? I certainly didn't think it was. I felt like he was on the same strategy as everybody else. It's just, the car just fell out of, it fell off a cliff. He is back to 17th, down 14 positions where he started, and this is by far his lowest running position here on the night. So, again, he is just praying for a caution, but with the way things have gotten spread out, I don't know if I'd be banking on one, at least not at this point. Now, while we continue to tick off laps, I think there's another good chance here for us to go and talk about what points and schedule is looking like here for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series after tonight. So first off, coming into the race tonight, it was Jake Hickson who led in points. His teammate Austin Fitzgerald in second. Jeff Shutt back in third. Danny Gutierrez in fourth. Michael Mueller fifth. Kyle Oakley sixth. Tyler Marble in seventh. Jared Bundy eighth. Jeff Marble in ninth. And Kenneth Bartholomew rounding out your top 10. And now the biggest change that I think we'll see tonight in points is the fact that Jake Hickson, he did not make the race here tonight, so he may lose his lead in points and may surrender it to Austin Fitzgerald. Same thing for Jeff Shutt, who came in tonight third but is not at the race, so he is going to drop potentially a spot, if not a couple, in points. Danny Gutierrez looked like it was going to be a good night. Things didn't turn out the way he wanted, of course, after getting involved in that incident. Looking for a couple other big movers to move up. Kyle Oakley, Tyler Marble, Jared Bundy. Watch for those three to make some significant gains in the point standings here tonight. And taking a look at what the schedule's looking like here the rest of the way. How about next up, Auto Club? Again, we talked about Alan Pajari got the job done there last season. Got to think he's maybe the favorite going into that track, but that's going to be a fun one. 3, 4, maybe even 5 wide racing. That's what we're going to see in Hollywood next week. And then we head back to a couple short tracks. Richmond followed by Martinsville. Going to be a couple of weeks where you just got to put your head down as a driver and try to get the job done. Those are really, really tricky tracks, that back-to-back, Richmond and Martinsville, that is. And then we go to a mile and a half, Texas, before we head back to another one of the wild card tracks, of course, with Talladega Super Speedway on April 22nd. Looking forward to that one. And then Dover rounding out April, and it'll be Kansas kicking off May. Darlington on May 13th. North Wilkesboro going to be the All-Star break. That'll be on May 20th. And we head to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the third Noble race and what is going to be the longest race of the season, as that one will be 200 laps at Charlotte. Boy, you thought tonight was a marathon at Bristol. Wait till we get to that one. All right, so as we get back live to the action on track now, 210 of 250, make it 211 actually as Mueller crosses line. Laps complete here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Again, still keeping an eye on, are we going to see one more pit stop? Or do drivers try to kind of carry it home from here? Jared Bundy, by the way, fell a spot. He is back to third. Kyle Oakley picked up that position as he moves into second. Currently 2.5 seconds behind your leader here, but again, it's a chance here for Oakley if he could find a way. As, by the way, Andrew Moraz has now fallen a lap down there. You see, he is getting passed now by Kyle Oakley as well. Just a really, really tough go here at the end for Moraz. Not sure what happened, but definitely a tough break to say the least. And now if you're Kyle Oakley, if the 97 doesn't have speed, you got to make this move here. You got to make it quick because you're getting held up, and it looks like he's going to get the run off of 4. Yes, he does. Well, not quite. They're battling hard for it here, but Kyle Oakley, this would be his season best finish tonight if he can hold on to second, but I don't think he wants to hear nothing about second. He wants to go for the win, and certainly can have a good shot at it here again if he can start to track down your leader. He's going to have to start doing it now, though. If he doesn't, going to run out of laps again now. What is only 35 laps to go. It's going to go by quick here at Bristol, but the way things stand, I'm still starting to think less and less about if we have a pit stop. Now, the big thing here is look at all the lap traffic that Michael Mueller is getting ready to run into right here. And, this is a big group. Oh, man, Mark Zabak cuts him off a little bit. The 99 has to check up. Now he's got to roll to the outside. This is a big opportunity here for Kyle Oakley. This is not going to be a 1 to 2 lap thing to work through. this is going to take Michael Mueller a few laps to try to figure out a way to get around all these guys. He may even have to force the issue and try 3 wide at some point. And watch that gap on your tower. Right now it sits at 2.5. Already down to almost 2.2 seconds. As there's just nowhere to go. Mueller's going to have to follow on the bottom here and just hope that these gaps slowly start to work themselves. And again, we talked about Kyle Oakley here is just going to continue to try to crawl his way up to this gap. Ooh, that was a big break. Mueller needed that. Russo slow up top with damage. Held up Pajari. That allowed him to get clear that big group. Now 3 wide just in front of this. Not what he wants to see here. Not only does he have to worry about getting around it, but he's got to worry about potentially getting involved in a caution here if these guys keep going at it as much as they are right now. A couple guys bringing it down to the pits here. Brian Conklin in the 37 along with Jared Bundy in the 3. So I think this answers the question. At least some of these guys, if not all of them, bringing it down for tires. And boy, if we get a late caution, or if we were to get a caution here, this would also really hurt anybody that brought it down to the pits. So if you're a Jared Bundy fan, or if you're Jared Bundy in general right now, you're hoping this thing is able to go green here and these pit stops are able to cycle out. The 99 of Michael Mueller still not been able to get around this group yet. And Kyle Oakley, he has got it down to under a second now. He is running to some of the lap traffic, but of course going to have an easier time getting around it than anybody else is because they don't have to worry about trying to hold him up. He's not the leader. There's nothing to gain by holding up to 17. And so Mueller right here almost clear the rest of the lap traffic. Ryan Haynes, the only man left, he's got to clear here before things thin out a lot more. And you see a couple others bringing it down to the pits here. Troy Baker in the 18 was the man that we just saw. And Jared Bundy is still on the pits. Yikes. I think the 3 may have gotten himself a penalty. And this might have been a big, big mistake here for the 3 who's having such a good night. He is still currently sitting in the pits. I mean, yeah, that's a really, really tough break for Jared Bundy. I can't believe he's still not out. I mean, I thought for sure that whatever penalty he had would have been over by now, but this is going to bring the 3 cars night to an end after what was looking like such a good run and such a good chance at it. By the way, Kyle Oakley still hanging about 1.8 seconds back now. He's going to run into some traffic, and you know, this might be a good time if you're Oakley and Mueller, and again, depending on if both of these guys have to go in or if they're going to try to limp it to the finish here. Do you try to short pit? I mean, I think if you're Kyle Oakley and you're planning on pitting, I would just go in right now. Before you catch any more lap traffic, just bring it down, take 4 fresh tires. But now Austin Fitzgerald with a run for himself. He's going to try to get around the 17, and we talk about one of the kings of the long runs. And the 2 guys that come to mind are usually Jeff Marble, Austin Fitzgerald. And right now, Austin Fitzgerald's showing you why. But how about with the way things cycling right now? Look at the amount of cars we have on the lead lap. It's not that many. In fact, it looks like currently as it stands, the lead lap cars only go back to the 10th position. Everybody else being scored a lap down. Now, of course, if all the leaders were to pit, that would change. But 22 laps to go. Still no signs of pitting just yet. The 99 of Michael Mueller. Mueller, of course, already with 1 win on the season, looking to see if he can capture number 2 here tonight. Boy, what an impressive job it was for the rookie. Not just tonight, but again, coming into the season, showing speed at just about every track that we were at. And, you know, even when you show speed as a driver, you always wonder, how long is it going to take to get that first win? Well, it didn't take long because it came at Las Vegas. And Riot Motorsports now has captured a win in the last 2 races. They can get the job done tonight. That would make it 3 in a row. Back-to-back, of course, for Riot Motorsports. And then not quite back-to-back for Michael Mueller, but he wasn't here last week. And so, good to see making a great comeback here tonight. Oh, I hear a spinner. We got one spinning. Where's it at? Caution is out. Oh, my goodness. This is going to change everything. Not sure who it was that went around. We heard the spin. We got to find who it was now. That is not what Michael Mueller wanted to see. He was thinking he had this thing all but wrapped up. And unfortunately, not going to be the case anymore. Well, before we talk about the pit strategies and implications this one's going to have, I'm going to go back first and find out exactly where this caution happened. We didn't get any reports exactly where the caution came out, so we're going to play this thing slow at first. There's one on the apron there, the 38 of Christopher Hall. Ooh, that's not a good look right there for the 38. And Westford Jr. goes for kind of a half spin and saves it. He's getting back up to speed. thinking he wasn't too happy there with Christopher Hall. We'll have to go back and take a look at that one, but I'm just really not sure what Christopher Hall had going on here. In fact, I want to back this up even further, see if 12 let him know he wasn't too pleased here. Westherd Jr. showing a lot of poise there, certainly more than I would have in that position, who was having a pretty good run. And again, I don't think there was anything meant to be malicious here, but oh, maybe there was. Let's go back here. So the 38's going to get some help here off of turn number 2. He gets a little loose, and then Westherd Jr. gets into him. But yeah, that wasn't really any of Westherd's doing. That was just the 38 getting loose. Westherd trying to check up in time. He bounces off the inside wall and then trying to get back on track. Yeah, that certainly explains that picture a lot more. No malicious intent there at all from either of those two. That was just basically a wreck that kind of occurred down the entirety of the back straightaway, and Christopher Hall was trying to save it the whole time. Westherd Jr. doing the same thing, and fortunately they just managed to run into each other a couple different times. There's the first contact. Hits the outside wall. He's going to try to merge back on track here, and that's where he gets into Westherd Jr. and then hits him again. That's how he gets all the front end damage. Give you one more view of this one here before we go back live. And watch, somebody's going to sneak just below this. Is it the 07 of O'Hara? No, he's going to try to jump to the high side here. It's the 18 of Troy Baker. In fact, O'Hara is actually going to get involved there as him and Westherd Jr. collide up top by the outside wall. It brings out total only your 6th caution of the night. Now, I got to be careful saying that because now, with the restart we're going to have with only 14 laps to go, this is where sometimes things tend to get a little messy, start to get out of hand, but we're going to hope that these guys can keep this thing clean for these next 14 laps, which are going to go by in a hurry. And by the way, I mean, pit strategy all over the place now for guys that had already pit, guys who hadn't pit. And I'm going back here. I want to go to where these guys actually came down to the pits here to see just everybody that brought it down to the pits. And so here we go, the 99, he comes in for tires, the 74. You'd expect just about everybody on the lead lap would do so. Kyle Oakley, that's a big break for him. Jared Bundy stays out. All the guys that had already pit, I mean, it just puts them in such a bad situation. That's one of the downfalls here at Bristol of pitting under green, is that if you get a caution before things have cycled out, it's not going to work out too well as the lights are going to go back on here. This will give us a delayed green, so we'll tick off another lap before we get back to racing. Boy, what a job that Kyle Oakley's doing right here. We'll see if we get the one to go here. I was going to say let's get a quick interview with him, but we're going to hold off here, let these guys stay focused. As, yep, the lights indeed do go off, so getting ready to go back green. By the way, quick reminder, some exciting things happening here. Actually, let your friends know. PGR Esports, of course, what you see our PGR races on, started their own broadcasting channel, and we may be slowly shifting a lot of events over to that channel that I do, especially the money racing events. So RMR Tuesday Night Thunder, which gets Season 4 kicked off tomorrow, will be making its debut on PGR Esports, so make sure you check that out. Also, the College Series racing tomorrow night. I will be at Talladega Super Speedway representing Embry-Riddle. If you got a chance, make sure you tune into that one. It will be, I believe, iRacing's YouTube.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag back in the air. 12 laps to go at Bristol. Good restart for the front row. The 99 of Michael Mueller on the inside, Austin Fitzgerald on the outside. No tire saving at this point. This is an all-out duel to the finish. Question is, who is going to make it work? You'd think that outside would be a little bit better based off what we saw earlier, especially with the fact that the track temp has shot up as much as it did. But the problem was, track temp's cooled down since. Ooh, Fitzgerald. Big moment as he looks for maybe a crossover, but not the way he wanted. Oh, no, he gets up. Fitzgerald goes around, he loses it. The 74 spins, everybody else trying to miss it. Oh, he gets clobbered by the 37 of Brian Conklin. Huge hit for the 74 and the 37. That's going to bring a night-ending caution for a couple of drivers, including the 74 of Fitzgerald and the 37 of Conklin. Man, that was a massive hit. It always scares you when you start seeing what look like really nobody able to check up, and it is hard here. The corners are blind corners, but oh man, Fitzgerald was going for it. Just overshot a little bit too much. Let's go to the cockpit view first here and watch this whole thing develop. I mean, he was pushing it to its limit here. Gets a little bit loose off of 2, saves it, corrects it. Now 3 and 4, he gets on the bottom, and That was really weird the way the car snapped around on him here. Gets a little bit loose. Almost looks like maybe gets some help. That was a really, really odd view. The way the car, it's almost as if it bottoms out. Watch the front splitter. Does it hit the racetrack? Oh my God, that is so weird. That's exactly what it looks like. Now, I know he puts a little bit of an overcorrection into it, obviously, but this was such an odd view. We're going to play this slow again. Watch as it almost looks like you would think he gets help from behind. Right there. See how it's almost like the car looks like it gets hit from behind, but he doesn't. And then he gets out of shape. He's trying to save it, and then at this point, car is too far gone. Quentin Clark gives him a love tap. Everybody shooting to the bottom below. Ryan Haynes, somehow they're all missing him until they're not. Brian Conklin T-bones, and boy, that was a huge hit. Play that for you in slow motion again, and then, I mean, look at some of the drivers that are ducking low just to try to miss this wreck. We'll go to TV3 here. Ryan Haynes gets some help, looks like, from Christopher Hall, and they still somehow miss this, and they save it. Contact, it looked like, for Glenn Grigsby there, hitting the inside wall. The 24, Brandon Saylor. He gets in this one as well with nowhere to go. Go to the TV static view. And you see that did do some damage to the front of Quentin Clark. Don't think that's going to affect him too bad, but watch this hit here. As everybody's bobbing and weaving, you can only miss it for so long. Oh my goodness, that is brutal for Austin Fitzgerald. All 4 tires off the ground. That is definitely going to be a night ender. Go to the cockpit view here for Brian Conklin, who's the one that hit him here. Can't see it there, can't see it there. Caution's out at this point, still doesn't see it. Sees it now, and it's just a little too late. All right, so as we go back live, Fitzgerald somehow able to get this thing back out on the racetrack. I cannot believe that thing was even able to make a return. The amount of damage he had. But up front, lights are off on the pace car. Getting ready to go back green. Now it's going to be a 5-lap shootout to decide the winner here at the Coliseum. The last great Coliseum, if you will. Wonder why. Beautiful views here at Bristol as the pace car works its way down the back stretch, potentially for the final time. Now remember, if we make it to the white flag, this race will be official. All right, here we go. Never mind, lights are going to go back on. But boy, this changes some things because Fitzgerald, who had a really fast car, out of it. And now, of course, you still got Michael Mueller at the front, and I think you got to kind of feel like this is his race to lose at this point with the dominant show and the clinic he's been putting on for probably about 80% of this race. But now Tai Iopolito, the rookie, with a chance to capture his first win of the season, has found himself on the front row here for potentially the final restart. Kyle Oakley, he's got a great shot at it here back in 3rd. Quentin Clark again with a chance to go back-to-back. Tyler Marble in 5th. Adam Johnson 6th. Johnny McCulchuk 7th. Ryan Shiro 8th. Jeff Marble in 9th. And Ryan Haynes rounding out your top 10. And again, that's as a result, of course, of missing that last wreck and being able to keep the track position. Nicely done by Ryan Haynes. Well, if there was any give and take earlier, tell you what, half that equation's gone. It's all take at this point. 4-lap shootout to decide it at Bristol. Green flag back in the air. Michael Mueller with a good restart, but Tai Iopolito's going to hang with them through turns 1 and 2. Not for long, though. Mueller gets clear down the back straightaway. Kyle Oakley jumps to the inside. And right now, Mueller wants to see these two battle it out, but the 19 gets back clear. He is rolling the outside. Does he have enough to try to get alongside the 99 here in the next 3 laps? Everybody trying to keep it clean as they go down the back stretch. There's the gap right there, just about half a car length. That's all it is, but Michael Mueller just wants to see the white flag. The 19 slips up. Tai Iopolito got loose just as his teammate Fitzgerald did. Doesn't matter, though. We're not going to make it. Caution is out. Thomas O'Hara into the outside wall. And that may have been a huge break for Tai Iopolito. Kyle Oakley there, as it looked like Michael Mueller was walking away with it. Not anymore. Thomas O'Hara with pretty significant damage on a couple corners of that race car. Let's see how he sustains it all here, or how he gets it all, rather. Ooh, got some help there from Glenn Grigsby, one of the independent drivers in the 64. This is coming off of turn number 4. And, oh, Grigsby's just getting loose. You know, I mean, Thomas O'Hara is moving up the track a little bit, but he's in his lane. It's just all it really is Grigsby. You see, he's already really, really up the racetrack here and starts to get in the marbles, doesn't want to hit the wall. He's yanking the wheel back to the left, gets a little bit loose as a result. Thomas O'Hara's there. He gets into his right rear. That sends him into the outside wall before he ultimately goes around and goes for a ride in reverse, if you will, along the outside safer barrier. Back and take a little bit of a different angle of this one here from TV1. A pretty good hit, but all things considered, should be able to get that damage fixed, and I don't even know if he's going to go in to get it fixed. Big loss there, though, of course, is the track position that he lost as a result of it. Well, back up front, Michael Mueller still leading, Tai Iopolito second, and Kyle Oakley third. So while we have a chance here, see if we can get a quick interview with the man who currently sits in that final podium position and could have a chance to potentially go grab his first win here tonight, Kyle Oakley. Hey, Kyle, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
What's up, man?
All right, well, we're heading to an overtime shootout. Looking like the car's been going pretty good here tonight. You find yourself in third position. What's the game plan here? Do you try to bring home the podium, or do you go all out and go for the win?
That's a good question. I'd rather be on the top. I'd feel better about getting the win on the top. I'd like to just get a podium, but if these two in front of me can get into it, maybe I can sneak a win out of this.
I was going to say, I mean, 3 laps to go. We know anything can happen, but if you get yourself into second, and we'll call it hypothetical for now, do we see a bump and run, or do you try to make the momentum work on the high side?
I'd like to say bump and run, but I guess situation will dictate.
All right, well, we'll see. We appreciate you giving us a couple quick words. We'll let you go, let you get back down to your teammates, and get ready for what is hopefully this final restart here at Bristol.
Yes, sir. Thank you, buddy.
All right, Kyle Oakley. There you go. Hey, he's being honest. That's what you like to hear. He says, you know, it just depends on the scenario. And a lot of tracks, I know it's all about clean racing, and the best part about the bump and run is it's a clean move as long as you execute it right. But, man, Tai Iopolito, he slipped up last time, and it's such a hard choice here, man. I'm telling you, especially if you're a guy like Kyle Oakley, or honestly even the 00, Quentin Clark, because you can see it. You're that close. You want to get aggressive, but you got to be careful. You can't spin the guy in front of you. So we'll see what happens here. All right, so your top 5, quick read off: Michael Mueller, Tai Iopolito, Kyle Oakley, Quentin Clark, and Tyler Marble. And anybody in the top 3, maybe top 5, but I'm going to keep it to your podium drivers right now. We'll have a shot at this. But Michael Mueller's been the man to beat all night. What can Iopolito do this time? Here we go. Overtime number 1. Got to make it to the white flag to finish. Green flag is in the air. 2 laps to go at Bristol. Good start from Michael Mueller. That time he got the jump he needed. Oakley not quite the start he wanted. Iopolito's trying to jump to the inside. Contact off of 2. Oakley not able to stick the momentum as Tai Iopolito gets clear. Off a turn 4. The 19 is within bump and run range. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go at Bristol. Final time through 1 and 2. He's got 1 more set of quarters to do it. Does he give him a little bump? Iopolito not going to get there. Michael Mueller got the job done last time he raced. He goes back to back. He wins it at Bristol. 3 in a row for Riot Motorsports. Back to back for Michael Mueller. Of course, wasn't here last week. His teammate got the job done, but last race he was here. He won, and he wins it again at Bristol. What a tear. The Riot Motorsports group is on here. My goodness. Iopolito had a decision, and he decided he wasn't close enough. Good to see him keep it clean, race him smooth. As Quentin Clark rounds out the podium. It's the celebrations burning it down here on the front stretch for the 99. Let's take a look at the finishing results here on the night. Michael Mueller gets the win. Tai Iopolito finishes in 2nd. Quentin Clark back in 3rd. Tyler Marble in 4th. Kyle Oakley 5th. Adam Johnson in 6th. Ryan Sherrill 7th with Jeff Marble 8th. Johnny McCulchuk in 9th. And Bill Benedict rounding out your top 10. Finishing in 11th here tonight, Ryan Haynes. Good run for him. Christopher Hall in 12th. Good run for him as well. Kenneth Bartholomew finishes 13th. Brandon Saylor in 14th. Glenn Grigsby in 15th. Cody Matthews in 16th. Matthew Gearinger back in 17th with Thomas O'Hara in 18th. Finishing in 19th. Danny Gutierrez, Alan Pajari in 20th. Wes Hurd Jr. in 21st, Andrew Russo in 22nd, Troy Baker 23rd, Mark Sabak in 24th, Brett Spod 25th, Austin Fitzgerald in 26th, Jared Bundy in 27th, and Andrew Mraz in 28th. All right, well, we are going to go get your top 3 in here for interviews. But before we do that, 29th, Brian Conklin, Jeffrey Souza in 30th, Greg Bartlett 31st, Todd Shiro 32nd, Jacob Musso 33rd, Anthony Handley in 34th, and Nick Sitchie in 35th. All right, we are now officially going to go get your top 3 in here for interviews. Stick with us. We will be right back at Bristol. All right, going to start first tonight with your third place finisher, Quentin Clark. Quentin, this is also in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, buddy.
Well, 2 weeks, 2 podium finishes, not quite a win. Couldn't go back to back, but nonetheless, I mean, you had to come from just about all the way at the back of the field. You worked the whole race to get there, and it pays off. Tell us about how you managed to do it and how you're able to hold on and ultimately capture a podium finish right there at the end.
Just trying to protect my stuff as much as I could while gaining track position. We spent, hours and hours and hours on the setup to get it to, be at the point that it was safe but still fast and wouldn't hurt the car too much in the long run. So I'm just relieved to be talking to you again after where I started.
Oh, man, Riot Motorsports, they've been on a tear recently and continues tonight, of course, with 2 of your guys finishing in the top 3. Bring home that podium finish, continuing to help yourself move up in the points standings. Good run tonight. Best way to cap it off is to, if you got anyone to thank or shout out.
Just huge thanks to my teammates. Hanging out with them every week and building setups with them has really been a blast for this league and for NIS. Who says green cars aren't good luck, right? I mean, luck of the Irish, I guess, kept me alive in this one. Huge thanks to my wife, my kiddo, my parents. I know they're watching, family, friends that are watching. Big thanks to sim coaches for being on the car, and Bolify, and go listen to Bon Bon Fire and Wolfelt on Spotify. They're on the car as well. So appreciate you in the booth, and thanks for having me. That was a fun race.
Well, you were fun to watch. Again, congrats on the third place finish, and we will see you out here next week. All right, and now that's going to bring us to your second place finisher here on the night, rookie Ty Iopolito. Ty, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, you were part of the rookie 1, 2, 3 podium here tonight. You bring home second. Man, maybe not quite the night you were expecting for most of the race, but there towards the end, a little bit of a good break with the caution. You get yourself in position, and you managed to make the most of it. How did you hold them all off, especially when you had a charging Kyle Oakley there at the end?
Yeah, that was tough there in the short run, going all out. But I think we had something for him on the long run if it went green there. But all in all, a very good race.
Well, we've seen the short track package for Dynamic Autosports be strong this season. Of course, you guys as a team showing a ton of speed at just about every track we've been at. Now, I know not next week. We go to Auto Club, of course, but then the week after that, and the week after that, we had the 2 more short tracks. How do you take what you learned tonight and apply it to Richmond and Martinsville in a couple weeks?
Yeah, looking forward to those 2 short tracks. Hopefully, we have a good setup there and we do one spot better.
Sounds like a plan. Well, I'll tell you what, before we let you head out tonight to go celebrate your second place finish, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
I just want to thank everybody on Dynamic Autosports. I want to thank my spotter, Brandon. He was coaching me through the whole race. So, and thanks for you guys for doing the broadcast.
Well, thank you for talking to us again. Congrats on the second place finish, and we'll see you next week at Auto Club.
Yep, thank you.
All right, and now that's going to bring us to your winner here tonight. Not just winner, but 2-time winner, Michael Mueller. Michael, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Sir, how are you?
Good. Well, man, you go back-to-back. Weren't here last week. Last time you were out, you won, and you win tonight at the Coliseum. Man, I'll tell you what, you put on quite a clinic here tonight. You were fast in the long run, fast on the short run. What was the difference that separated you from the rest of the field here tonight?
Honestly, I think just saving. I mean, I kind of blew my stuff off there in the first run, and we got that caution. I was like, okay, I have to learn. I have to back up everything here and just let the track, just learn the track and, save the tires. And we got that super, super long green flag run, and I was like, okay, I just got back with my pace, give up a couple tenths, just keep the gap in between me and second, and just keep the car underneath me, and eventually it worked out. And I was kind of scared when we got that 20 to go caution, but it all worked out.
Absolutely. Well, again, great finish here tonight. Obviously, you get your second win on the season, but next week we head to a 2-mile track. You've got one on a mile and a half, a half a mile. You think you got a chance to get one next week at Auto Club?
Yeah, we're super excited. We've already been kind of working on Auto Club a little bit last night going into next week. So we're pretty excited as a team. We put a lot of work in, so I'm already working on the set. So super excited to get to go there. Kind of want to go to Coda a little bit, but if we don't, this is definitely the best team decision. So going to be a good time. Hard
work paying off as it did here tonight. Well, before we let you go to celebrate in Victory Lane, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, everybody on Riot Motorsports. I mean, these guys put in countless hours. I mean, we work all night, pretty much every day of the week until the race. So gotta thank everybody there, and we work so well as a team. So that's definitely never gets taken for granted. Sim coaches for being on the side of the car every single week. And Bolify is my personal main sponsor. For any bowling jersey needs, use promo code Mueller300 and get a 5% off 50. And Jeff for the league. I mean, this is probably one of the best open leagues I've been in, and I've been on iRacing for 10 years. So he definitely has something to be proud about here. And you guys put on amazing broadcasts. Go back and watch every week, and it makes it a little bit sweeter when you win. So definitely gonna be fun to go back and watch.
Certainly does. Well, thank you for talking to us. Congrats again on the win, and we'll see you next week at Auto Club.
Yep, see you guys next week. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's going to round up our coverage here tonight at Bristol. What a good one it was. I mean, not that many cautions, all things considered. A lot of great green flag racing and another win for the rookie, Michael Mueller. Starting to become a natural habit for him. We'll see if he can add on another one to make it 3 in a row next week at Auto Club. Thank you all so much for coming out here tonight. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Tuesday Night Thunder starts back up. That will be over on PGR Esports. Make sure you go check that out on YouTube. And again, that will be me and Dawson Wise on the call for it. But again, thank you all so much for coming out tonight. As always, I hope you enjoyed.